Okay guys, I got a better camera for filming, so I am now recording in 1080p, but I only have 30 minutes of footage available, so there's that. This video, I'm going to tell you that I got a new camera, but I'm also going to tell you what my next videos are going to be. So, after I do this review, which is The Force Awakens, I'm going to probably hold off because I just saw The Hateful Eight tonight with friends. So one of them's coming over tomorrow. Link to his channel below. So we're going to do a review of The Hateful Eight together. And after I finish this review, I'm going to do a top 5 films of 2015 and a top 5 music albums of 2015, as well as you're going to hate me for this, but a Christmas haul video, because I did get a lot of cool movies and CDs and video games and stuff like that for Christmas, and I kind of want to show you guys. So I'm going to be doing that after the review. So let's just dive right into it. Star Wars The Force Awakens, directed by J.J. Abrams, is a continuation of the Star Wars saga after Return of the Jedi. It takes place a good, I want to say 20 years after Return of the Jedi, but I could be wrong. There were so many good things about this movie. I do not even know where to start. It wasn't perfect by any means of the stand, any means. But after the prequels, it definitely washed out the bad taste that they left in my mouth. And for that, Abrams, I applaud you. Thank you for that. The only real problem I had with the film, which this is going to be a nitpick, and it's going to be a really big nitpick, is that there were very many parallels to A New Hope. And in the sense where it was basically the same story. I did not have a problem with it because it was still a very good movie. The characters were new. It is not a reboot at all. It is a reintroduction of an old franchise that we all know and love, that we grew up with, and it's telling it to the new generation, the people who are just now coming into the world and coming of age to view these movies. Their parents might have shown them, their friends, their older friends may have shown them the original trilogy, and this is continuing that story for the new generation. Now, I grew up with the prequels, and in that means where Phantom Menace was released, I think, the year I was born. Then it came Attack of the Clones, and then came Revenge of the Sith. Those were awful movies. Plain and simple. But as a kid, I didn't think they were that bad. But as an almost adult, 17 going on 18, which next month I will be 18, I realize that they are terrible movies. But not unredeemable. I'm going to bash them just as much as the next guy. But to the point where, as an aspiring filmmaker, I want to take these movies and I want to make them different and I want to make them good. And that's one of my hopes in my career, hopeful career, to where I can take old movies and fix their problems. Not redo them completely. Because some of the casting in those movies, some of the aspects of those movies were very well done in respect to Mr. Lucas. But then there were other parts. Jar Jar! I'm sorry. That were done poorly. See, and the big problem being Jar Jar, was he wasn't needed. The original trilogy had characters for the kids. The characters were R2-D2 and C-3PO. Those were the characters for the children, and they were perfect characters for the children. And that's what happened in the prequels. They were taken out, something else was put in, and it did not have the same charm. They fixed that in The Force Awakens with BB-8. This little ball of joy that was thrust upon me made me so happy. He was presented perfectly to a point where we didn't even need any of the other droids. Don't get me wrong, I loved C-3PO and R2 when they showed up in the film. But the point where BB-8 was presented to us, it was perfect. In a word. The other aspects of the film were astounding. The villain, Kylo Ren, was a great villain. If you make the comparison of Kylo Ren and Darth Vader, if you grew up with the original trilogy, was intimidating. He was masculine, he was dark, he was mysterious. But he didn't have a clear conflict in his character until Return of the Jedi. Kylo Ren comes in. You can tell he's still learning. You can tell he's young. And if you've seen the movie, you know where this is headed. Yada, yada, yada. What he did. And what happened. And... But in Kylo Ren, there is a clear struggle to begin with. Between his fight with the light in him. Because he didn't start out as a dark side. He didn't start out as a villain. He was raised as part of the light side of the Force. And there is a clear struggle within him to where they can do so much with that concept alone in the following two films. Say, a redemption arc, or a really tragic... somebody kills him and he redeems himself in the last moments, like they did with Darth Vader, except, you know, a little bit different. So, with that comparison, I like Kylo Ren a lot. Almost a little more than Darth Vader. Darth Vader still holds a special place in my heart as a villain. But Kylo Ren is much more complex than Vader, in the sense that he comes in with a clear struggle as, am I doing what I should be doing? Is this my real path? Is this my destiny? And I think that's interesting. I think that's amazing what they did with that. And I think Colin Trevorrow should go with that in Episode 8. Stick with that. Flow with that. Great. JJ sets you up for an amazing Episode 8. Go for it. I really like this movie. And from now on, I'm probably not going to go with a grading scale. I'm just going to tell you if I like the movie or not, because for me, a grading scale, it's too complicated and it's... So, yes, I loved this movie. It's not my favorite of the year, but it's in my top 5. And for that, thank you, Mr. Abrams, for revitalizing and re-envisioning the Star Wars saga to where I can stand it again. See you in the next video, guys.